Hey there, welcome to Aquaponics Adventures with Mike. This is the first episode, and I'm going to try and do weekly episodes regarding different aspects of my aquaponics system, different technologies that I've used, things I plan on doing in the future, what's working for me, what hasn't, different problems I've come across and how I fixed them. So yeah, I figure each week I'll split it up into two different parts, one being an existing technology that's in place or something that I'm using, and then the second part being what I plan on doing next in the future or what I'm working on currently this week. So stay tuned and I'll give you guys a quick overview for episode 1. So you're looking now at the fish tank. We have 4 different goldfish in there, as well as a Procostomous algae eating fish at the bottom. They've all grown to be probably about 4 to 6 inches long, and they seem to be staying about that size now. I think it's based on the size of the tank. They're not going to grow much bigger than that. So I figured with the first episode I'd just do a general overview of what I've been doing so far, or what I've done. The technology that I've implemented, or the setup that I've used for this particular aquaponics system, is called barrelponics. It's an inexpensive way for a home hobbyist to put it together. Basically, I took 3 different barrels, cut them in different shapes, and fashioned them into a fish tank, split one in half to be the grow beds, and then another half a barrel up top here to facilitate the bell siphon for the flood and drain. So the original design was by Travis Huey. If you look it up online, you can find his barrelponics plan, and that's basically what I based this off of. I've definitely changed it in a few ways, added a few different modifications. The first one being the bell siphon. And the bell siphon's an amazing piece of technology. It's been around since, I believe, the ancient Greeks or Romans, a long time ago anyways. And basically what it allows is for this tank to fill up slowly, and once it reaches its full amount, it will start to siphon at a rate that's much faster than the rate that it fills, thereby filling these 2 beds, or flooding them, allowing the nutrient-rich waters to penetrate the roots, fill up, feed the plants, and then, as you can hear now, they'll drain back down, drawing air and oxygen back to the roots, allowing them to respirate again. So it all basically will drain back down into the fish tank here. Now with the pumping rate, I have it set at now, seems to cycle about every 2 hours, or sorry, twice every hour. So it takes about half an hour, 20 minutes, half an hour to fill up that top barrel, half barrel. And that's all being done by this centrifugal pump down here. So you can see I have a valve to shut off there if I need to do any work on the pump, so I won't have to drain my whole fish tank. And this pump's been sized basically exactly for this setup. It uses very little power. So as you can see, I've done a bit of plumbing and electrical work. This is several solenoid valves that allow for me to backwash the lines, because in the past what would happen is over time the fish waste would be put through the pump, clog the impeller, clog the lines, and what I'd find myself doing is detaching this line up top here and blowing it out by mouth every couple of days or so just to clear out the fish waste. Now I've built an automated system that will do that with my air compressor on its own without me having to intervene. So otherwise, get into a little more of the basics here just to kind of give people an idea of what's happening. So the whole process is as follows, and it basically follows the principles as like a small wastewater treatment plant. You feed the fish eat the food and create waste. Now that waste is solids as well as ammonia, which they respire. Now ammonia would be toxic to the fish, and in fact my fish died off the bat initially because there needs to be another component in the system to take care of that ammonia, and that is the nitrifying bacteria that are present in the grow beds. So over time they will become established and eventually break down the ammonia into nitrogen that the plants can use. So after you've fed the fish, their waste is pumped up to the top half bucket, and once it fills it will flood the grow beds, and then that is where most of the action takes place. So inside these clay pellets, or among them, we have all the bacteria. There's two different types. One that will change the ammonia to nitrite, and then another that will change it to nitrate, and eventually to nitrogen that's absorbable by the plants. And now the plants will absorb that nutrient, also clean the water and purify it before it's returned back to the fish. So it's a great cycle in the sense that you don't have to be constantly changing your water. The plants clean the water for the fish, and the fish provide the food for the plants. So no fertilizer. In fact, you can't really add much of anything to the system at all because it will upset the balance and harm the fish. They're quite sensitive to most things. The only things that I add to it are the fish food, a little bit of seaweed, as well as a bit of an iron supplement, and that seems to be all that it takes for the fish and the plants to be happy together. During the summer, most of the energy comes through the window in the form of sunlight, although I have supplemental lighting with a metal halide light that provides the needed energy over the winter and in the summer to keep things moving along. So over time I've tried all kinds of different plants in here. The most beneficial or useful seem to be herbs, because they're grown on a small scale and they're highly valued, so it makes sense. I've also found these tomato plants called Tiny Tim that produce these sweet little cherry tomatoes and grow as little dwarfs, so they're not overtaking everything, which might be debatable at this time. So I'll just give you a run through which plants I have here. Tuscan blue rosemary, English thyme, Genovese basil, purple basil, arugula. Those are the Tiny Tim tomatoes there. You can see a couple are just starting to ripen. Around back here we have oregano, just kind of hanging over the edge. And this is a tiny little pepper plant that's kind of just holding on here. It's pretty amazing though, as you brush up against the rosemary it fills the air. Its aroma quite strong. Alright, and on the other side we have Moroccan mint, bay leaf, and then back underneath there's some watercress. And we also have Italian parsley and some more English thyme. So what's really caught my attention and interest in this project is the fact that it's essentially a closed loop ecosystem, completely self-contained, or nearly anyways, with little intervention on my part. I have future plans to include worms in the grow beds to break things down as well, and I've used things such as beneficial insects like ladybugs and different mites to control the insect infestations that have plagued me. So yeah, basically I just wanted to give an overview in the first video of kind of how the setup works. The second part of the video will be what I'm working on currently, and that is connecting this together. So basically what I have set up now is a automated backwash system with a series of sensors, but what we're looking at here is called an electric imp, and that allows me to connect this to the internet and thereby control it remotely and view the status of different elements remotely as well. So currently I'm working on that. I've basically just connected the wiring here. There's a serial bridge that is connected to the Arduino that allow it to interface with that, and then this connects wirelessly to my home router and the internet from there. So as I said, I've just finished the wiring here for this. I'll be doing some programming to get that online here shortly. So stay tuned. That'll be the next update.